Deadly wildfires in California could give birth to a wealth of wildflowers. Photo caption: Golden California poppies and lupines blanket the landscape near Gorman, California in April 2003. That year, a return to near normal rainfall totals over the winter ended a Southern California drought and dangerous wildfire cycle. Similarly, the extensive burning that occurred in 2018 could lead to an abundance of wildflowers this spring. California was really hurt by wildfires last year. In the northern part of the state, the Camp Fire destroyed an estimated 18,804 buildings. It burned down the town of Paradise. Down the coast, the Woolsey Fire burned 96,949 acres of Los Angeles and Ventura counties. It could take some areas years to recover. Others may never recover at all. It was a horrific tragedy. While it's little consolation, there is something that could emerge from the destruction. Some experts think that the extensive burning could result in a huge spring growth of wildflowers in Southern California. This is also known as a super bloom. It is also a sign that things are recovering. Intense fire followed by constant rain. A super bloom is an exceptionally productive season of wildflowers. It generally occurs as a result of two steps in the environment: intense fire followed by constant rain. The fire prepares seed banks in the soil. These are then nourished by rain, resulting in blooms in dozens of wildflower species. Mark Mendelson is a biologist studying living things with the National Park Service in California. He works in the field and was directly affected by November Woolsey Fire. Either the heat or the smoke physically causes the seed to germinate or bloom, he says via email. Steady, but not necessarily heavy, rains throughout our normal wet season of November through March encourage most of our species to bloom in a given year. Scientists see signs. When the wet season yields more than average rainfall totals, that's when the flowers can change the landscape. In the region surrounding the Santa Monica Mountains, he says, there could be twice as much rainfall than normal up to this point. This increase in rain can also result in blooms in desert regions that did not burn. One example is Joshua Tree. It experienced a super bloom in 2017. The possibility of a Los Angeles area superbloom will become more clear in the coming months. Still, scientists see signs of a strong one this year. The significant rains have caused a tremendous green up on the slopes and fields of the Santa Monica Mountains, Mendelson says. It's suspected that trees and larger animals in the area will bounce back from the Woolsey Fire slowly. However, signs of revival are already appearing. Carpets of wildflowers. Species that commonly bloom following a fire are in the poppy, popcorn flower, lily, lupin, snapdragon, and sunflower groups. Mendelson expects to see all of these before the close of April. He also expects carpets of morning glory and wild cucumber. The super blooms will be most prominent in the steep-sided canyons. This is where the fire burned most intensely. To be exact, this is about 90% of National Park Service lands in the Santa Monica Mountains. If all goes along with nature's plan, the balance will be restored soon and springtime will bloom. However, concerns about wildfires will rise again. These are the comprehension questions. Number 1. Where will the superbloom be the most noticeable? How do you know? A. The superbloom will be the most noticeable in the town of Paradise. The Camp Fire completely destroyed the town of Paradise, which will lead to the largest superbloom in the area. B. The superbloom will be the most noticeable in Los Angeles. Los Angeles. Either the heat or the smoke physically causes the seed to germinate or bloom, he says via email. C. The superbloom will be the most noticeable in Ventura County. Steady but not necessarily heavy rains throughout our normal wet season of November through March encourage most of our species to bloom in a given year. D. The superbloom will be the most noticeable in the canyons of the Santa Monica Mountains. The fires burned intensely in the mountains, which will lead to a prominent superbloom. Number 2. Read the paragraph from the introduction, paragraphs 1 through 3. In the northern part of the state, the Camp Fire destroyed an estimated 18,804 buildings. It burned down the town of Paradise. Down the coast, the Woolsey Fire burned 96,946 acres of Los Angeles and Ventura counties. It could take some areas years to recover. Others may never recover at all. Which of the following is an accurate explanation of what this paragraph means? A. The Camp Fire did more damage to California than the Woolsey Fire. B. Los Angeles and Ventura counties are already showing signs of recovery. C. The Woolsey Fire spread all the way to the northern part of California. D. 2 large wildfires caused a great amount of destruction throughout California. Number 3. According to this section, intense fire followed by constant rain, how do fire and rain lead to a superbloom? A. Smoke and heat from an intense fire cause seeds to germinate. The seeds are then nourished by heavy rains during the rainy season, which encourages them to bloom. B. Heavy rains during the rainy season cause seeds to germinate. The smoke and heat from an intense fire then provide them with the nutrients and warmth they need to bloom. C. Smoke and heat from an intense fire damage seeds, causing them to germinate early. The seeds are then forced to bloom to avoid being drowned by heavy rains during the rainy season. D. Heavy rains during the rainy season cause seeds to float to the top of the soil. The seeds are then forced to germinate and bloom in order to survive the smoke and heat from intense fires. Number 4. What effect does a superbloom have on experts' knowledge of the environment? A. It emphasizes that the environment will likely experience a wildfire. B. It reveals that the environment is in danger of floods. C. It shows that the environment is recovering from damage. D. It indicates that the environment is experiencing harm.